Welcome, everyone, to a brand new Hearts of Iron 4 playthrough. This one's going to be interesting. I haven't played Hearts of Iron 4 for a while, and I'm choosing to dive into something very different than anything I've ever played before. This is the Every State Independent mod. And so as you can see, every state is independent. So just in the U.S. alone, there are, I guess there'd be 48 separate states. I guess Hawaii is its own state too, even though it wasn't a state yet. Russian America there. But we're going to play as Ohio just because that's where I live and it makes the most sense. But every single state is independent, and so it's going to be interesting to see how states conquer each other, how nations are formed, and where this goes. Now, the game, obviously, with this many independent nations making their own decisions and all that sort of stuff, means it runs super slow. So these episodes are probably going to be short because they're going to take me a long time to record. Even like a 20-25 minute video is probably going to take me 2 hours to play. So I'll give you the highlights as things happen, but let's go ahead and dive in we're going to play on regular difficulty, playing as Ohio. Now, I will say this. I tried out the mod a couple of days ago just to get my feet wet, just to get used to it. Everybody starts with basically a blank slate. Nobody starts with an army, with any kind of equipment, anything like that. You have to basically build everything completely from scratch. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this all works out. So I don't have any idea what this does. This will determine the chances of each nation to participate. We're going to say 100%, even though I have no idea what that does. Now here's where your setup is. Manpower default, starting divisions, no. Template width is 14, can be changed in the game rules. Randomized leader skill is no. Factions are enabled. It'd be interesting to disable factions, but I don't think I will. Research slots, 3. National Focus is a modified default tree. This can be changed by the game rules. So I'm not entirely sure how we want to do some of this. We won't randomize the leader skill. Research slots I'm fine with how they are. Islands capitulate 30% faster. That's fine. The main thing I'm worried about, I'm wondering about factions. Restricted means they can only create factions with neighboring countries. That's kind of interesting. We'll allow factions. It's a little more historical that way. Beyond that, so everyone has the modified default tree. Everyone has 3 research slots. I like the idea of everybody starting with the exact same thing. As far as that goes. Now, populations are going to be different. So, for example, Pennsylvania is going to have a much higher population than, say, West Virginia, I would guess. In the game, that's how that would work. But I guess we don't know for sure until we actually see it. But in theory, I would think that would be the case. So let's look. We have the default national focus tree. Nothing exciting about it necessarily. This is really about just seeing what happens with the game. I want to get those early political points. So we're going to do political effort first. And we're going to try to immediately build up a couple of units so we can maybe rush one of our opponents. Getting a couple of extra territories early on and the factory base that comes with that. Yeah, here we go. There's 9.64 million people in Pennsylvania, only 1.9 million in West Virginia. So Pennsylvania, I think, is where I want to go first as far as conquest goes, if we're able to get that happening. So first things first, we're going to do support weapons 1. Actually, no, you know what? I want to do weapons 1. Forget support weapons. Let's do mechanical computing so we can get that research speed bonus, and then start with the basics on industry. I'm going to start immediately. What do we have as far as factories go? We have 1 military factory and 2 civilian factories. So, boy, nothing happening on its own of any worth. So we're going to have to get the factories via the national focus tree. That's really how that's going to have to go down. So I guess we'll start our military factories right away, just working on basic military equipment. That's about all we can do. And only having 2 civilian factories doesn't give us a lot of room for doing anything else. It's going to take us forever to do absolutely anything. Let's go ahead and name, please. Okay. So I guess this will just be our default infantry division. And it's going to take forever just to even build that much. So let's start training one of those. And now we wait. So there's political effort, and that's our first national focus. Obviously, we have to make a decision about which way we're going to go. Are we going to go the path of liberty, or the path of communism, the path of fascism? I think I might go fascist. I just think it would be the most interesting of the choices. Expansion focus gives you instant war goal on a random neighboring country. You don't get to decide which one. So that might be an interesting thing to do. But I think before I do that, I want to get a head start on industry, get a couple of armament effort things going so we can build up our military a little bit. There's no sense in quickly jumping into war if I don't have an army. So we're going to focus on that first of all. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with this political power that we've gained. Mobilization seems to make sense, but that'll give us a little bit of a bonus on construction speed, but that's just not going to happen very fast. Free trade might be the way to go because that's going to allow more of my resources to go to market, and that's going to give me an instant bonus to those factories because I can trade away more things and get civilian factories from trade. As you can see, I started out with just just 2 civilian factories. I'm up to 7 now, and most of that's coming because of what I'm trading away. We're exporting some aluminum, exporting quite a bit of steel right now. Our first research completed, infantry equipment and basic machine tools. So we're going to go ahead and go. I think we're going to go. Ah, boy. We'll go concentrated industry. And then interwar artillery. Well, you know what? We're not going to be building any artillery anytime soon. That's for sure. We got to keep it pretty simple, honestly. I may need some air power at some point. I'm thinking mainly just fighters. So let's go ahead and do fighter 1. And now we can upgrade our basic infantry equipment to infantry equipment 1. We've got almost enough for our first division. We've got 354, about almost 60% of the equipment we need for our first division, which is actually a pretty small infantry division. We're about to complete industrial effort, which is going to give us our first step toward being able to get some new factories, which is going to be huge right now, especially these military factories. Let's go ahead and get our first one of those going. And we're also constructing a military factory, which is going to be done in July. So we'll actually get 2 military factories. That'll get us up to 3. So that'll actually kind of start to ramp us up pretty nicely. So there's armament effort. That's going to get us another military factory. We also completed construction of a military factory, which means we've now gone from 1 to 3 military factories. It's going to allow us to build that infantry divisions up a little faster. I'm actually going to change my focus, I think. Now, you know what? We'll keep going military for now because we've got civilian factories freed up from training or from trading. I might go with construction effort next, but I actually think I'm going to start focusing on some of this stuff a little bit, so we can start working down toward the kind of government we want to have. I also chose a military advisor that's going to give me attack bonus and military experience gain, so we can start getting some experience to make some changes to our division templates. So there's collectivist ethos. I've also switched over to partial mobilization, which actually freed up an additional factory for me. to give me an additional one that's working on construction. I've got my 1st Infantry Division fully organized and strengthened. I think we're going to go ahead and start training them, which of course is going to take some equipment, but that's okay. I want to get them trained and equipped. Nationalism Focus is going to take 56 days. That'll give me daily fascism support for 720 days. Although I don't know if we need to go that far quite yet. Maybe it's time for Expansion Focus, 35 days, and that'll allow me the opportunity to get my first conquest and maybe be one of the very first states to actually conquer somebody else. Looking at the resources of my neighbors, oh, here come the first wars, and there are going to be a ton of them. Because we have this many states, that's how many different states can be declaring war all at once. Michigan's got 115 steel and 12 oil. Now, this thing that I'm working on, Expansion Focus, is going to be random. So it could just as easily give me Indiana, Kentucky, or West Virginia. I'm really hoping it's either Pennsylvania or Michigan. Pennsylvania's got 95 steel. Michigan, of course, 115 plus that oil would be really nice to have. So that's what we're going to hope for. Okay, we've completed Expansion Focus. I've also started making some artillery. I've added artillery to my division templates. I don't know who we're going to get for our chance to go to war here. I guess we'll find out who it is. In the meantime, we could do it again, but I don't think I want to do it again anyway. Let's do construction effort. And then let's see who it is that we have a chance to declare war on. Kentucky, of course, it figures. Of all the places, I wanted it to be somebody that I could maybe gain some resources from, but we'll do it anyway. Let's count on the fact that they don't actually have any military yet. Of course, we don't know that for sure. I'm guessing they probably have something. But let's go ahead and make our war plans, and then we'll declare war. We got to stop our exercises first and give ourselves a chance to build our organization back up. We got a lot of wars going on. All right, so he does have at least one unit. It's called Name Please, Kentucky. It'll arrive in the next day and 1 hour. Interesting. I can't believe they have that many military units already, but we'll give ourselves a chance to build this up a little more before we declare war. I could add a third one, but we don't have the equipment. We certainly don't have the artillery yet to be able to make that happen. We're only building about 2 artillery a week right now. It doesn't appear to have a second unit, though this one's pretty strong. Gonna go ahead and give this a go and see what happens here. So let's declare war on Kentucky. It's an annex war. And see what happens. If we can't beat his one unit, then nothing's really going to go well from there. Although, if I keep him engaged there, I guess we just go conquer the rest of his territory while he's engaged with our one division. That might be the way to do this. Of course, like I said, everything's going pretty slow here. What's his estimated manpower? It's smaller than ours. We only lost 20 men in that initial attack. If we can get around behind him, take advantage of the fact that he's only got one division, get him cut off here, I think we'll be in good shape. We might even just be able to destroy him. Let's see if we can do that. Oh, everything runs so slow on this mod, but it's to be expected with what we're doing. Let's see what happens when we attack him from this side, if that makes any difference at all. If not, we'll just go march on all his territories. It's taking a while to get there. It's also November, which means the weather's not going to be doing us any favors. Hey, there's our first fighters. There's concentrated industry. I want to wait 1 second and see what happens when we get engaged here before we... Yeah, it doesn't seem to be helping. Okay. Don't need to do anything else there right now. I think we will go after concentrated industry 2. And then let's go here with radio. Then let's go back and forget this. Let's just conquer his territory. We don't even have to fight his army if we can conquer his territory. Moldavia has capitulated. There's our first nation to fall. North Transylvania conquers Moldavia. Let's go over there and see what's going on in Europe. We've got a war going on here between the West Midlands and and Lancashire. That's pretty interesting. But that war was over here. So we're starting to see the first steps, perhaps, toward the formation of Romania. There's another state that has fallen. Kentucky looks like they did just recruit a second unit. I just recruited my third. We're just going to try to keep this guy occupied. If I can have one more unit than him and keep him occupied to where he can't stop me from marching on his territory, I don't know if we'll be able to, by conquering everything else, if that'll be enough to knock him out of the war without actually taking this territory here. But I think it probably will be. Lancashire has capitulated. The West Midlands. Go West Midlands. Yes. Awesome. I got to figure out where the points are that are left here. Let's go ahead and go here first. And then we'll march down into here. We're super close to conquering Kentucky. His other division's moving up now. That's okay. Just keep him occupied over here. See if we can't score enough points to win this thing without having to fight him. Another state has fallen. That's 3 now, so we have 3 fewer than we had before. I think we're going to be able to do this without having to fight him directly. I didn't assign that 3rd division to the army. Let's go ahead and do that. Doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot. He's actually attacking me here right now. We're into December of 1936. The reason it's hanging up like this is it does the every time there's a beginning of a new month, it gets really, really slow. All right, let's march in here. Where are we at? Oh yeah, one more territory. I think we're gonna have them. That should do it. Yep, awesome. We got 10 civilian trains, 544 equipment, 13,000 fuel. And Kentucky has capitulated. Take all states. Let's end our turn. And we have just doubled the size of our territory. And with it, I don't know if we did anything as far as things go with factories. But hey, whatever. Let's look at military high command for a second. Army logistics. Artillery. Actually, the artillery would be a good idea, I think. In fact, we just finished researching interwar artillery, so it's going to give us a little bit better than what we had. Dalmatia took Herzegovina. So the Baltics are expanding, or they're actually reducing the number of nations there. Let's go ahead and start researching a tank chassis for the first time. Where are we at? We're about to complete construction effort. Wales declared war on Gloucestershire. Bunch more wars happening here. All of that has only got world tension up to 6% right now. Once construction effort's done and we've completed a civilian factory, we'll do another expansion focus. Iowa declared war on Nebraska. Look out. They're fighting over that strip of land around the runway there. Around the airport. The Omaha airport, you actually, when you leave the airport, you actually drive through Iowa briefly because the way the river has moved and things like that, it's kind of weird. Look at it on the map, you'll see what I mean. All right, expansion focus. Oh, we can't do 2 yet. We have to have one of the following, so we've got to do nationalism focus first. That'll take 56 days. So as we're waiting for more things to happen, by the way, Maryland and West Virginia are now at war. You can form nations. If I grab certain territories, I can reform the United States. You can see I need New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, and Tennessee. Once I have all of those, I can reform America. That'll give me a plus 15% to base stability. So there is an advantage to doing that beyond just the change of the name. So we actually are in position now to where we can actually justify a war goal. So we're going to go ahead and start justifying on Michigan because I want those resources big time. And with that in mind, we'll go ahead too and... what's going on here? We're going to go ahead and get our military switched over from a defensive role to lining up on the front lines. I'm also going to, I think, start building up an Air Force once I get the chance. Right now, I'm just trying to get caught up on my production of towed artillery. We're making 5 a week, which is still not enough to get caught up where we need to be. But we're pretty well caught up on infantry equipment. Nationalism Focus complete. Militarism might be an idea, but I don't think I need to go there yet. I think we're going to continue down our industrial effort now. Let's go ahead with construction effort. We'll go with another civilian factory. So we've got 4 divisions on the line now against his 2. It means we're going to have to break through somebody in order to be able to take Michigan. So it's not going to be as easy as Kentucky was, where we just marched around him and took all the territory around him. This one we're actually going to have to fight. Those units themselves, here come a bunch more declarations of war. I've also got my very first fighter, so I have 1 fighter in my Air Force right now. East Anglia declared war on London. Southern Ontario declared war on Northern Ontario. So just, we now have a 100% world tension, which means factions can now be created and alliances and things of that nature. I think it's too early to tell where people are going to be as far as those go, to be able to create factions. I might start looking around for ideas on where I can do that. Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's going to be an option right now. It's April 12th, 1937. We have completed our justification for Michigan. This would be a huge victory for us because of the resources, the steel and the oil that can be found here. We just don't know for sure what we're going to be up against, and we can't go around them this time. So let's go ahead and declare war. Ohio declares war on Michigan. Boy, how we've all longed to hear those words. Let's do it, boys. Oh, it's looking good so far. We've got 4 divisions going after 1. Now, obviously, he may reinforce there. But we've got pretty well fully stacked divisions as far as everybody being reinforced where it needs to be. We've got just about all the artillery that we need. We're a little bit short on the artillery. We've got 5 planes in our Air Force now, although they're fighters, and he doesn't have an Air Force, so it probably doesn't do a whole lot. But if we can just get a breakthrough, then we can take Detroit. I can send a division around and kind of go from there. You can see here my manpower is around 30,000. His is estimated at 9 to 17,000, so we certainly have the edge. I stopped creating new divisions. He also shows having an estimated 10 to 12 total factories, so this would be huge for industry as well. I think we're going to be able to break through. He's holding the line here right now. Meanwhile, all the other wars continue to go on. I think by 1940, we're going to start to see who the power players are. We're going to start to see powerful nations. That's where we're going to want to be making factions, making friends with people. No casualties showing as of yet, which is kind of interesting. Rhineland capitulated to Hessen, or is it Hessen that capitulated to Rhineland? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. All right, we've got our breakthrough now. So now what I want to do is I want to send 1 division to go take Detroit. And I want to begin the process of encirclement. Wow, just like that? All we had to do was take Detroit? Okay. Beautiful. That is a lovely, lovely thing. Okay. So there's Michigan, and with it, those all-important resources. And some extra equipment, which is nice. So now we've got some free civilian factories. I want to build some more civilian factories. I've got 100% infrastructure in Ohio now, so that's where we're going to build our factories. So right now we only get 35% of the resources from Michigan that we're able to access based on our current law and other modifiers. eventually we will get our way up to the others. It's just a matter of compliance, which we don't have a lot of resistance right now. We're starting to see factions. There's an Asian League and a European Pact now. I want to go ahead and take a look at the factions map mode so we can see who may be involved in these. So it looks like the Pradeshi Union up here in the Scottish Highlands. We've got the European Pact forming over here. I guess that's just north of Italy. Is that Austria, I guess? And they're part of the European Pact. And then we have... Oh, that's part of the Pradeshi Union there, too. And then the Asian League right here. So we're seeing our first factions. You can see where all the wars are. Wars absolutely everywhere. But things will start to settle in a couple years, I think. Looking at Pennsylvania, they're obviously going communist, which we cannot permit a communist nation on our border, especially one that has the resources Pennsylvania has. So we're going to ramp up to war once again. Let's get our 4 divisions on the border. I'm going to move my 8-man Air Force up here to Michigan. We don't have any airfields in Ohio yet. Oh, I don't have the range. All right, well, we're not going to need the Air Force anyway, but it only takes about a month and a half to justify the war in Pennsylvania. Interesting that New Mexico has joined the Asian League. What is the Asian League? Let's see. They're fascists. Okay. So New Mexico is part of a fascist conglomerate there. That may be a potential ally down the road. My goal by, I'd say, 1940 is to hold at least all of eastern United States and then really just kind of build up our industry, our manpower, our army for the larger fights that will come later. And then eventually we'll need a navy, but we got a long time before we got to worry about a navy. So Munster took the Soviet state of Connacht. So interesting that there was a Soviet state in Ireland. You can see that Ireland is very quickly falling under Munster. What kind of government do they have? They are non-aligned. And you can see that there are now just 3 nations. We've got Northern Ireland, which is democratic. We've got Leinster. I never did know how to pronounce that. Somebody can help me with that. That is also non-aligned. So we're starting to see things merge here. Fascinating war going on down here. We've got Haiti and the Dominican Republic at war for the island of Hispaniola. We'll see who comes out on top there. Let's take a look at where the factions are now. Still just the one state among the United States in a faction. You can see where all the wars are. We've got a war happening here in London, between London and East Anglia. We've got a number of wars happening on the mainland continent of Europe. A lot of wars happening in China. There's one happening in Japan. Not a whole lot in Russia. We got a few here. But that's about it right now. Completed infrastructure effort. I think it's probably time to go back over here and look at what we might do in terms of fascism. Seems to make the most sense right now. Let's go militarism. We've completed our justification for Pennsylvania. Let's do it. Ohio declared war on Pennsylvania. Let the invasion begin. Manpower-wise, we're pretty even, actually. He's got a nice number of factories going. This one's going to be interesting. Hopefully the construct of our divisions gives us the edge. We actually moved around him. We took Erie. So there's an opportunity here. We can either attack or we can push in behind him. I'm actually inclined to do the latter. Hold the line against Pittsburgh, and then kind of this is like the Mercer, Crawford County area there. I live right here. That's why I know so much. I lived in this part of Pennsylvania for 7 years. That's where my daughter was born. Went to college there, too. You can see how often wars get declared. So we're sending one division in and around and behind him. I'm actually going to keep encircling before we attack Pittsburgh. This probably won't be a long series. Just going to give you some of the highlights. We'll do a more detailed series when we do a different mod that has an in-depth focus tree and things like that. Since this has a pretty generic focus tree, there's really not a lot to talk about beyond the action itself. So I don't know how long this campaign will be, but I can't imagine it'll be a ton of episodes. Rio de Janeiro declared war on Sao Paulo. Interesting. Dang, can't even keep up with all these wars. Schleswig-Holstein declared war on Hanover. So we got wars in Spain, Germany, Transylvania, Switzerland, Poland. That's Spain. All right. He's holding out in Pittsburgh, but now that we've got them encircled, we've got an opportunity here to actually just destroy his divisions. Once we do that, then we just march on Philly and end the war. Probably Harrisburg and Philadelphia. Let's see how the numbers look. There's no casualties showing up, which is really strange to me. Obviously, there are casualties happening. In fact, you can see here his organization's really, really low. That unit's going to fall here shortly. There. Does it show casualties now? 875, 466 for us. Alright. Finish him. Let's go ahead and destroy his other division. The Socialist Republic of North Dakota has declared war on Minnesota. So we're going to attack with 3 divisions against the... actually, he's about to fall apart there. And I've sent another division. Ooh, there is another Pennsylvanian division right here. Because my plan was actually to just march on Philadelphia. But it looks like we're going to have to fight him off first. There we go. So let's send one unit north. He's falling back in disarray. We'll probably have to just take Harrisburg and Philadelphia. That should probably be enough to win this. The Soviet state of California has declared war on Oregon. Florida declared war on Alabama. I think Alabama's already at war with Mississippi. In fact, Mississippi is torn into Alabama pretty good. And now with Florida declaring war on Alabama, that's going to be the end for them. South Carolina and Georgia are at war. Who's who here? Let's see. Mississippi, that's their old Mississippi flag. That's not even their flag anymore. Although I guess it was in the 1940s. They're not aligned. Alabama's not aligned. Florida's not aligned. South Carolina's Democratic. Most of the others, Tennessee's Democratic. Just like that, Mississippi has defeated Alabama. So there's one less U.S. state in the mix that I had nothing to do with. So we're engaging the enemy here around State College, I guess it is. That's about where Penn State University is. Meanwhile, we are marching on Philadelphia. I didn't take Harrisburg. I'm going to have to go... Oh, Philadelphia was enough to get it done. All right, so we've been taking the states that have the most to offer in terms of resources. Let's take a look and see what might be next in that regard. New York, most likely. I'd like to diversify my resources a little bit. Tennessee. Tennessee's a democracy. That might be a place to go. That would put me on the border of Mississippi right there. Oh, because we took Pennsylvania, we've actually got our first dockyard. I'm not really worried about building a navy too much, but I do have the steel resources available for that. So I think we're going to go with some submarines to start. I don't have any Navy. Well, I have a tiny bit of Navy experience, but not enough to get a decent submarine hull. So we'll just go with a basic submarine for now. So we've completed support weapons 1. We're a little bit ahead here, but I'm going to go ahead and do improved infantry equipment 1. We also are working on the research necessary for the start of tank production. Right now I'm working on improved armor protection and improved engine. And I've already researched 1934 medium tanks. The next one will be 1939. We're not quite there yet. We'll probably start building some small armored units here pretty soon. So I'm going to hold off on any more attacks for the time being, I think. Well, you know what? I might go after Indiana. Let's take a look. I want to keep an eye on where they're aligned, because if they're fascist countries, they're potential allies, and they probably don't need to be my first source of attack, or focus of attack. So we'll get Indiana just because it'll look better, my borders, if I take Indiana. There's no resources to be had there, in fact. Unless I go after New York, there aren't really any resources in any of the surrounding territories until I go after Tennessee. In the meantime, I've got a decent amount of manpower. I certainly don't need to make any changes to our all-volunteer force at the moment. The next thing I'm going to do is, as soon as I get caught up on artillery, I want to start focusing on building some small but rapid-moving tank units. And before I do that, though, I want to get the improved engine done. Once that's done, and once I complete militarism, I'm going to get 20 more army experience. That should give me plenty of experience to be able to build a top-of-the-line tank that I can use, and maybe just build like a small division that has just a couple of tank battalions that I can use to move around and capture territory while my mainline infantry engage the enemy armies. Okay, so a bunch of things happening here. I'm waiting for them to cycle through here so I can catch up. Upper Austria defeated the People's Republic of Tyrol. Colorado declared war on Nebraska. Tennessee has declared war on us. So forget Indiana. It actually is going to work out in our favor because Tennessee's got resources that we could actually make use of. So let's move our forces down. Interesting that Tennessee declared war, but they're not marching across the border yet. Our first troops are on the line. Oh, yeah. Okay, here he comes. And he seems to have a decent-sized force, so this could be interesting. We'll see what happens once we get everybody down there. The rise of Eastern Switzerland. They have proclaimed themselves the successors of the Swiss Imperial Confederation. So is that an actual nation that has been formed? Yeah, Switzerland has been formed. We've got our first historic nation has been formed here. Upper Austria is starting to look pretty powerful too. So interesting things are afoot. But we've got our hands full right now dealing with Tennessee. We've got to get these other divisions down here and get them down there quickly. Because at the moment, things are not looking good for that 3rd Infantry Division. They're about to get thrown back. The dawn of the Asian Combine. Got another division that's still working its way down here. Alright, we're slowing things down a little bit. One of ours got thrown back, but now we just threw one of his back. Looking at the numbers here, 171 casualties for me, 1,200 for him. He does have pretty well equal numbers in terms of manpower. But I think things are going to start looking up here now that we've won a couple of victories on the battlefield. We'll get this unit to come down from Louisville. I do want to look and see where we're at on production in terms of what we need. We do need a little bit to reinforce what we've lost. But we're gaining some good experience here that's going to come in handy once we start building tanks. Research, 10 days away from improved engine, and that's when we're going to start building our tanks. But right now we need to focus on this war with Tennessee. Alright, here we go. So we'll have all of our territory back, although it looks like he might break through here in the center. Now we need to cross the... is that that's the Cumberland River? Or is that the Tennessee River? That's the Tennessee River. What happened to my 4th Division? It didn't get destroyed, did it? No, I just don't see it for some reason. Oh, it's right here. I moved into Tennessee, that's why. I'm looking in Kentucky for it. Alright, this is good. Let's hit these guys again. If we get really lucky, he'll retreat this way and we can cut him off. Although I guess we need to win first, and right now it doesn't look like we're going to do that. Let's call that off for the time being. There's improved engine. Let's close this for a second. Alright, what do we want to do next? No. I think what we need to get is we need to start getting some of these improved companies. Oh, we don't have the ability to do field hospitals yet. We don't have trucks, that's why. Alright, so we need to do trucks. Alright. Let's do this. Let's try to go 2 on... Well, that didn't work because then he attacked me in both places. Alright. I'm going to count on my superior production ability and manpower to make up the difference long term in this war. For the short term, we can inflict some casualties because I don't think he'll be able to replace those as easily as I can. And right now we've got the edge in casualties. Eventually that will make the difference, as he can't replace the equipment and manpower losses. Colorado has annexed Nebraska. Let's take a look. So you see Colorado has taken Nebraska. Minnesota took North Dakota. California seems to be winning the war with Oregon. Of course, Imperial Mississippi down here. A fascist nation. We see South Carolina still slightly has the edge on Georgia, at least in terms of conquered territory. And it looks like West Virginia is winning the war against Maryland right now. Casualties, 1,300 for me, 4,100 for him. We need to get an edge somewhere. You know what? Let's go ahead and start working on tanks. We're not going to have them right away, but let's design a medium tank chassis. First things first, I want to look for something that's going to give me the best for... That's 25 soft attack. I like that. How about a medium turret? A 3-man turret's going to give me 20 breakthrough. I like that too. What do we got down here? Suspension. We're going to make expensive tanks that we won't have a lot of them, but they'll really be able to do the job. I like the speed. It's all about speed for me with these things. Welded armor, cast armor. Let's go welded armor. Alright, what else do we have? Radio. Definitely a radio. We can add some machine guns. All kinds of options here. I love the options that are available. I don't want to reduce reliability. I'm going to go with armor skirts there. Heavy machine gun. Alright, I don't think we're going to add anything else because of the reliability hit that we would take. Gasoline engine, probably going to be the way to go. Although reliability goes up with the diesel engine, but I don't know if that's... I guess that is an option for us. We have 62 available experience. Adding to the engine gives us a little more max speed. The speed's pretty slow, but look at how good the reliability is right now. I like that a lot, keeping that over 100%. But I do want to get the speed up. But yeah, there comes a time where reliability is going to be a factor. I'd rather have speed and reliability. So let's get over 100%. All right, that's good. Basic medium tank. So we're going to start making those. It's going to take forever to start making them. But eventually we'll get some more factories and we'll be able to make more of them. Okay, we won the battle over here in the west. So now we're going to march forward. Just pushed them through there. We pushed them through here. So we're making breakthroughs. That war of attrition is working for me. The casualties are adding up for his side. And he just can't keep up with that. There we go. We're attacking into the mountains here. It's not an ideal place to fight. But I want to push through in the west as best I can. If I can cut off a couple of these divisions, that'd be ideal. Federation of Warsaw was annexed. Galicia took Leon. So things continue to consolidate in Europe. We're going to see more nations form before too long, I would imagine. I don't like how things are going over here right now. Casualties are mounting up a little bit. Alright, things not going real great in the west now, but now we're making pushes in the east. What I'm trying to do here is if I can drive this division out, I can have this one surrounded, cut him off and destroy him. Makes my job a little easier, and then eventually I can come at these guys from the other side. Casualties, 4,000 to 8,000, so we're continuing to have the edge. But the problem is the more men we lose, of course, the more equipment we have to replace. Although it's not real bad right now. We are winning this battle. Got a bunch of peace conferences happening. Okay, we have the desired cutoff here, though my division that's there, his organization is completely tanked. So we're going to have to give him a chance to recover before we can launch another attack. We're going to bring these guys down now. Yeah, see, he's going to immediately get attacked. So this is getting kind of interesting because it's not going real well in the west. He's got more divisions than me at the moment. I could queue up another division just to have the extra in the field, but I don't have the equipment right now for it. I'm using all of my equipment just to replace losses, which is kind of what I'm counting on him not being able to do. But so far it seems like he's been able to do it. But if I can destroy one of these divisions, that'll help a lot. Here we go. All right. Yeah, unfortunately we're fighting a defensive action here, so I can't turn around and attack very easily. Oh, we've got a division cut off now of our own. That can't stand. We've got to break through to them. Okay, we've got one of his divisions surrounded. Now the question is, can we defeat him before he gets a chance to break through somewhere? I'm not entirely sure we're going to be able to do that, but we're certainly going to try. I got to keep up the pressure everywhere I can at the moment. We are pushing into Tennessee finally. Ah, Flanders has declared Belgium. So now we have Switzerland and Belgium. What's it called? It's called Leopoldlian Belgium. I love it. Oh, that's awesome. Peter Brown is the leader. I would have expected that we would have seen a King Leopold if that was going to be the case. But hey, that's cool. So things are starting to happen. I think by the end of our second episode, we'll see a number of formed nations. But our fight continues. Things aren't going well in any of these other fronts. Man, I just got to hang on long enough to be able to defeat this division. There we go. Now we can get him. Beautiful. That's going to help turn the tide, I think, destroying one of his divisions. He's actually, even without that one, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's got 7 divisions total right now against my 4. I do have a 5th one queuing up at the moment. There we go. We destroyed a division. I think that's going to help. Manpower 33,000. I've lost 7,000 men. He's now lost 19,000 though. So hopefully we're starting to turn the tide. All right, we're knocking on the door of Nashville. It's January 38. There's improved infantry equipment. Let's go after support weapons 2 now. There we go. We've taken Nashville. I don't know where that puts me. Oh, pretty darn close to winning this thing. We just need one more territory of some value. How about we go after his army there? That also gains us some new military factories. Alright, destroying that one division and then adding a new division of my own seems to have turned the tide in this thing. 7,000 casualties to his nearly 21,000. So this has been our first real costly war, our first war where we had a worthy opponent who had a decent sized army. So this tells me it's probably time to slow down a little bit and think about kind of making sure that I've got a strong army that's ready for complicated actions potentially against superior opponents. So Northern England just capitulated. All right, we're getting into February, so now things are going to freeze up for a second here. Let's go over and take a look at the situation now in the UK. Nothing new happening in Ireland. Looks like Lanark took Northern England, so they're starting to form large parts of Scotland there with their capital in Glasgow. We've got the West Midlands here, Birmingham, Liverpool, Manchester. Wales is basically all one country. In fact, it is one country. Democratic. That's really about it. I want to back up a little bit. We've got a lot of countries forming. Those may have been states to begin with. I don't know. Sudan, Ethiopia, and others. Japan's very fractured still. Not a lot of other places. Amazonas there. We've got some war happening in Mexico. California slowly taking Oregon, but it hasn't happened very quickly. I don't see any other places where there's major fighting going on. Georgia may capitulate pretty soon to South Carolina. We'll see. New York's making inroads into the New England Republic. So all of those states have merged into one now. Completed infrastructure effort 2. Now we've got opportunity for an extra research slot, which I think will be huge moving forward to get that one research slot edge on other people. Is that not enough? I guess that was not enough to get this done. So let's push over this way now. We're going to keep the pressure on these units so they can't move and reconquer territory. I just need a little bit more as far as victory points go to finish this thing off. All right, we took some more territory here. We're now able to get in behind. I do have another unit that has joined my army that I recruited. I actually think I want to push this guy further before he's able to recover. I think we saw another war start here. Oklahoma declared war on Imperial New Mexico. There it is. Tennessee Republic has capitulated. Capture some trains, some other equipment. And with that, I think we're going to wrap up this episode. A lot more than I expected to get done in the first episode. I still want to get Indiana just because it looks weird. My OCD's killing me with the shape of that border right now, so I want to straighten that out a little bit. But you see, really nobody else has more than 2 territories in the United States right now. Georgia making a comeback a little bit against South Carolina. I think we've covered most of what else is happening in the world. Let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. And please, if you want to see more Hearts of Iron 4, please hit that like button. And let me know what kind of game you'd like to see me play next. We are going to plan on doing another multiplayer, multi-week game that we'll organize over on Discord in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for announcements about that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.